Okay, welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. You're probably wondering what that title refers to. It's actually a play on words. I was trying to combine the idea of Red Baron Pizza and the vertical slice, which is actually in reference to some recent stories that have been going on in the world of video game reviews and journalism. Alien Colonial Marines was famous for a lot of reviewers for providing the reviewers an early version of the game where it was what was referred to as a vertical slice, showing what the game would be capable of doing, and it didn't end up living up to those expectations. And I have kind of a similar story for myself personally that I thought I would talk about because it actually relates to this game, Red Baron, which is on the Nintendo DS, the Atari Anniversary Collection, Volume 2. But Red Baron itself, just wanted to talk about it, discuss a little personal story that happened to me. Now, the reason I decided to post this is my recent review of that Vectrex game for Vectrex Roly. I just gave it a 5 out of 5 because I really enjoy it and stand behind that. But I just thought to myself, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be just tossing out 5 out of 5s left, right, and center. Otherwise, maybe it shows not very discriminate reviewing capability if everything gets a 5 out of 5. On the other hand, if you're only reviewing stuff you like, obviously it's all going to get a 5 out of 5. Obviously, some stuff I have posted hasn't been 5 out of 5, so when I did the review of the Simple Series light gun game for the PS1, that one I gave a fairly middle-of-the-road review. So I like to think that I can be somewhat choosy with the games that I review. But I had a situation go very poorly for myself with regards to this game, Red Baron, very specifically the one for the DS. And it opened my eyes to just being careful what you say about games and who you say them to. Now, I've done the occasional review for a couple of publications, so I'm by no means a professional. I'm not trying to put myself up there as that sort of level, but I know what it's like to be a member of a forum and to give my opinion on something versus actually thinking things through and actually talking in the sense of criticism and reviewing a game properly. I did that with Red Baron. I put a comment on a forum once that actually ended up opening my eyes. It was an education to me as to what can happen when you are giving off like a reviewer and when you're not a reviewer. But let's, I was going to call this something else, like something that was a play on Snoopy and the Red Baron, maybe like a Loopy and the Red Baron, but that didn't quite work. So I just thought, yeah, a vertical slice of Red Baron. A little bit reference to pizza, a little bit reference to video game reviews, etc. Now, let's talk about this game itself. First of all, it comes with a collection of other games for the Nintendo DS. And the coin-operated version, the original arcade this is based on, is a really fun game. It's basically, if you've ever played Battlezone, it's Battlezone as a biplane World War I combat game. So I'll give you a very brief little version of this here. If I try my best to shoot the airplanes. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, I died. This has been, I played this back in the arcades. I loved Red Baron. It was one of my favorite games of all time. And I was so happy to finally get a version of it on the DS that I was hoping was going to be, I'm not doing well here. Hard to play and shoot at the same time. Anyway, I love the sounds. I love the vector style. It's a really great game. It's definitely always loved it. And then there's these blimps you have to take out as well. Always enjoyed this game in the arcade. And those sounds really take me back to my younger days, throwing a quarter into the machine and just enjoying that vector fun. Now, I have been looking for a long time for a good version of Red Baron because It is playable on a main machine. I have it on main. And it's all right. I have a feeling the control, the joystick, doesn't translate well to a digital joystick, which is what... Oh, I'm dead. And I get to put in my... Thanks. There we go. Yeah, I thought... I've been looking for a good version of Red Baron to play, because I really, really liked it as a kid. And when it was coming out for the DS, I thought, oh, of course, perfect. You can use the touch screen to finesse that analog control a bit better. That's going to be fantastic. And I bought the game, threw it in, and I discovered that it doesn't work that way. And I thought, well, that's really strange. In fact, let me just see if I can go back out here and turn the music down. There. So now here are the controls. Now the upper screen never really changes here, but on the bottom screen it shows the stylus playfield or stylus flight stick. And in the instructions it mentioned that one of these control schemes you'd use your D-pad for moving around, up, down, left, right, and A button for fire, which is what it shows up here. Also, it indicates you can use the left shoulder button to fire here. And the other one, according to the instructions, which I'm guessing would have been playfield, was kind of pull back and forward and left and right with the stylus and use your finger over here to fire with. And I thought, yeah, that would actually bring that control scheme better across. Because the problem with MAME is all I've got is this digital pad, and it doesn't have the right amount of control, or how can I put that better? It's not a game that works well digitally. You need a little bit of analog control, because when you really need to pull left and right, a D-pad just doesn't cut it. Certainly not on a main machine. And that's the only way I don't have a PlayStation 2, so I don't have that Atari collection that uses the PS2 with the thumbsticks. But I thought, okay, well, this will work. This is great. I can use the stylus, and I can fire with this button here, and away we go. And then I tried launching the game, and unfortunately, that doesn't actually exist as a control scheme. Oh, okay. There's where, with this playfield stylus here, let's just show you. I'll try a game. And as you can see, I can control just fine, and that has the finesse that I was looking for. But no matter how many times I pull this trigger, nothing is coming out. No bullets. I thought, okay, what is going on? Why is this not firing my weapons? I'm clicking like it says to do. And that's when I discovered, yeah, no, it'll fire if you use the A button. But unless you're left-handed, I can't do like that kind of a thing. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's just not going to work. And it's not mapped here either. So I was dying all the time, and I thought, well, wait a minute, that's not right. The instructions or the controls say playfield for the stylus, and it shows up here. The fire button is there. So why is it not working? I've been hitting this a lot of times. So I took my cartridge back to the store. I thought, okay, well, maybe I've got a defective cartridge. And I went and put in the new cartridge. Exactly the same thing. So I was kind of disappointed because I really love Red Baron, and I had been so looking forward to playing this game with that kind of control scheme. And the fact that it wouldn't let me do that, I kind of felt really angry about it and a little gypped. And even I looked on the web, and apparently, yes, this was a known issue. They had released it with that control. It's not there now. They had released it saying that this left button would actually work as your fire, but I guess there was some error in the code or something, and lo and behold, it doesn't really do it. And I was, to suffice to say, I was pretty ticked off about it. So I went to Atari Age, a forum I've mentioned a few times, because those are Atari guys. They know where I'm coming from. They're my age group. They know what it was like to play the game back in the day. Maybe I could compare notes. Maybe they've come up with something. And most of the people on Atari Age said, yeah, no, you're right. That doesn't work. Even though it shows in the instructions that that's the way it should work. And it even shows fire is that left shoulder button. That didn't end up happening in the code, so you have to play it using a D-pad and the A button. And I can't remember my exact comment, but it was something like, well, I am seriously how did I put it? I think my comment was, what a disappointment. And I gave off, and I was really ticked off, and I just vented, as one does on a forum. And not long later, there was another reply on the Atari Age forum thread, and it turned out it was from the developers themselves, Code Mystics. And one of the fellas there apologized. He said, yes, unfortunately this code got out that way before we managed to get the button on there triggering properly. And he did even reference my statement by saying, I'm sorry that you feel it was a major disappointment. And, that was, I felt like a heel after that. I was just like, oh, God. I was trying to just vent my frustration. I didn't mean to take it out on the developer of the game. I didn't realize he'd be reading this. So, yeah, I felt really, really bad. And that's sort of where this whole video game journalism and video game forum thread stuff started to impact my way of thinking. And that's why I probably won't... I know there are a lot of YouTube channels where people are very opinionated and really like to slag producers, manufacturers, developers, programmers, you name it. There's lots of people out there that will tear a strip off a game if they don't like it, or complain a lot about certain manufacturers and programmers of games, and feel fully within their rights to say such things. I'm not really that mindset. Having had that bad experience, I've realized, hey, these are people too, and they're trying their hardest out there. And just because some game that you really, really liked isn't necessarily fulfilling what you wanted from it, don't go out there and start yelling to the sky what a big disappointment it was. So, as a result, the reviews that you're going to see on my channel, I'll try to definitely be very honest about what I feel about them, but if you're looking for opinion pieces, sort of like, Review Tech USA or Jim Sterling or those guys who are very, very good and very, very articulate with how they like to point out where the limitations and the problems are with a lot of games, a lot of gaming issues out there. You're not going to find that on my channel. I'm a little fella that, just likes to play games. Although I put reviews on my website that are my opinion and, of course, are fully, I have every right to be unhappy with a game as much as the next guy. You're not going to find a lot of complaints or a lot of me whining and moaning about why isn't this happening and what a pain in the butt it is for this thing to happen as well. Hence the vertical slice, the Alien Colonial Marines comparison. I know a lot of people were really, really angry when that game came out, and I'm just pointing out I'm not one of those types of reviewers. I will certainly happily give my little 5 out of 5 system and enjoy, and I hope other people like hearing my reviews. I want to talk about games that are not getting a lot of press out there, like the Vectrex early game, but I don't want to be considered pulling my punches just because I'm not whining and moaning and bitching and complaining, and that's because I've had a little history of it with this Red Baron game. Now, I have a little epilogue. There's some good news on the Red Baron front, and I just need to stop the video for a second because I need to change the hardware, and you'll see some good news here. Okay, we're back. So here's the Red Baron again. What's different, you ask? Well, we're on different hardware now. Now we're on the Nintendo 3DS. So what's the difference? You say that's not going to solve your touchscreen problem. No, that's true. But the 3DS has something that the DS does not have, and that is the Circle Pad. And although it's not perfect, the Circle Pad does work a lot more like that analog control I was hoping for. If you go too far to the extreme, like especially the left and right, it's not great. You will sometimes go into these tailspins that you can't get out of, but it's a lot better than just the D-pad for control. And since this doesn't have the option for using the shoulder button or using the touch screen, it's a pretty good compromise. I can use the Circle Pad, and that'll work fine. So let me show you as best I can with these two screens on this limited real estate here. So as you can see, yeah, see, if you just do these little jerky motions with the, there we go. Yeah, it's a lot closer to the original arcade experience. Now you do end up going in these slight bits of tailspin. Again, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. Obviously I'm doing a lot better now for the controls. So this feels much closer to what I was hoping for, and I highly recommend this as an alternative. If you're looking for the original Red Baron experience and you don't have a PlayStation 2, much like I don't, this is not bad. And if you just let go, it will eventually get out of those tailspins. Yeah, a pretty good compromise for how to make this Red Baron game work. Use a 3DS with that circle pad. So yeah, just wanted to post up a video talking about where I'm coming from with the reviews that I post, why I'm maybe not being as vocal or verbose as some reviewers as to something I don't like. But I hope to still be able to bring games to people's attentions that not a lot of people are talking about. And yeah, with luck, this will have been a worthwhile video. And until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.